In this video, we're gonna program a small conveyor system with 3 conveyors using factory I/O. We will program it using all 3 programming languages. We will program it with function block diagram. The same we will program using ladder logic, and also we will program it using SCL just to see the differences. Let's get started. I will start with factory I/O. I just opened the factory I/O. Let's go to home, scenes, and we will start from scene 1. So there's already one conveyor existing. What I would like to do is I'll just choose it, Control C, Control V, just copy it. This is the fastest way. And then I'll just copy another curved conveyor. And I'm planning to use these sensors, like when this box reaches this sensor, then the second conveyor starts. So I'll just copy and paste this sensor here as well, so that the box, when it reaches this sensor, then when the box reaches this sensor, the third conveyor also starts. And then we will go and create the buttons for start and stop here. I'd like to use a switchboard, and then we will put the start button here. When you press tab V, it rotates. Then when you press V, you can move it vertically. And then I'll take another stop button. So we have start and stop buttons. And then what I would like to do is here for this sensor, I'll name it as sensor 1. This one I would like to name it as sensor 2. Then we have the conveyors. This one I'll name it conveyor 1. This one I'll name conveyor 2. And this one conveyor 3. Then we go to File, Drivers. We choose PLC Sim. For now, we have only this input and output, so I would like to go to Configuration. I use the default. And then we have all of them. For I0.0, I would like to use the factory I/O running. Then Start button, Stop button, Sensor 1, Sensor 2. And for the conveyors as well. Conveyor 1, 2, 3. And now let's go and create these addresses in TIA Portal also. So to use factory I/O, you have to download a template from their website for TIA Portal. I'm here using the 1500, so version 19. So you download this one, and then when you open it, the template already has this function here. It's just this one. And when you open main OB, it already exists here. This is the communication between TIA Portal and factory I/O. So don't delete this one. Let's go to PLC tags. I've already created these ones. So start, stop, sensor 1, the sensor 3 we don't need. Conveyor 1 is Q0.0, Q, conveyor 2 and 3. Yes, I already created the tags. To save some time. Then let's go and start with ladder logic. We just create new block. I'd like to use function block, ladder logic. Let's name it as conveyor ladder logic. And here, let's start with the writing the logic. So what I'm trying to write down here is that when we press this start button, then this conveyor should start running. And if you press stop, it should stop. So when you press start, this box starts running on this conveyor. And then when it reaches this sensor, the second conveyor starts running. And then when the box reaches this second sensor, then the third conveyor starts running. Yeah, it's just a basic and really simple logic. It's just to get started with Factory IO and TIA Portal. So here, what I would like to do is, we say when we press start, and keep in mind that the stop button, this stop is normally closed. So it's always without, when you don't press stop button, it is already on. When you press it, then it turns off. So I would say when we press start and when stop is there, then let's get Conveyor 1 running. And if you remember from previous video, to latch the motor, we do it like this. This is latching the motor, the conveyor, okay? So this one is, we can write it Conveyor 1. And for the Conveyor 2, I would like to do it when this sensor is also, you see, it's always on. And then what I would like to make here is that when we get a negative edge of this sensor, then I turn on this conveyor. So just to start it, I'd like to go here. Let's get this one. So here I will say when the sensor 1 turns off. So when the box comes to this sensor, it's on, right? When the box comes here, then it turns off. When this turns off, then let's create some memory here. For this, this negative triggers I have explained in previous videos. So I'll just write a memory N1. And then drag and drop. So what we say is that when this sensor gets a negative trigger, when it's off, when it gets off, then we start the conveyor 2. And here the stop button, of course, should always be there, because if you press stop, then it will stop, right? And here again we will do the same for latching the motor. And also what we can do is, because when this box comes to this second conveyor, if you press stop, it's already past this sensor. Then we have to add start as well, so that we can start the motor right here. So I'll add the start button also. So what's happening here is we are saying if we get negative edge of sensor 1, or if this conveyor is already on, or if we press the start button and stop is there, then we turn it on. So let's do it for conveyor 3. For conveyor 3, actually we can get exactly the same logic. Here it will be sensor 2. Here it will be stop. Here we make conveyor 3. Here also, of course, conveyor 3 start. But for memory, we do not have to overwrite the same memory, right? So we have to add another memory. Yes, let's do it N2. This is it, actually. This is basically it. So here we already prepared the logic using the ladder logic. Now we have to call it into main OB. We make another network. We just drag and drop, right? And then it will create a DB here. And later I'll show you also how you can use the inputs and structure here. Or we can do it right now, actually, after testing this one. So the next step would be we run the simulation. We start the PLC sim. We start this instance. So we found the CPU. start module. We go online. We are already online, and now we have to connect the factory I/O to our PLC sim. Here we press connect. So you see we are already connected here. Then what we do is we press play and we start testing. Let me make it small. So if we go into Conveyor, if we go online and start monitoring, then what happens? We press play here, and then we press start button. We see it's moving. Then we press stop, it stops. We press start, we press stop. Here you see this logic is always either start or this one, and even by pressing just the start, it's always on. Just to test with the negative trigger. Let's make it like this. It's running, right? I can stop it here. Then if I start here, you see Conveyor 2 is not on here. When it comes to this sensor, then the Conveyor 2 turns on. But the problem is if you stop here, then you cannot start it anymore. You see? That is why here we need the start. Same for Conveyor. And here the start will work now. So this was using the ladder logic. Now let's do the same with function block diagram with FPT. For the FPT, we also use another new block, function block, and here we will choose FPT, Conveyor FPT, and then here we say Conveyor 1. And here actually we can check, like we can do exactly the same. Here, this one is an OR block, right? So we say OR, if it's start or Conveyor 1, and stop. And if it's stop, then we say the Conveyor 1 is on, right? Conveyor 2. Here we can make an OR. Yeah, we have OR for 3 conditions, right? We make OR. We say if it is a N trigger, we say N. If it's a negative edge, and here we use the sensor 1. And this one we can also copy from here under the static. For this one, we will use memory 1. Here we have Conveyor 2, right? So basically it's like the same logic. And here we have stop, right? It's like one of these, that's why we have OR and stop. Then we assign Conveyor 2. And same will be for Conveyor 3. Basically it will be exactly the same. Here we have N2, and here we have sensor 2. And here we will have Conveyor 3, Conveyor 3. Basically it's done. Now let's try function block diagram instead of. So for that, what we have to do is we go to main OB. We call not ladder, but we call the FPT to test it out. So we have this function block diagram now. We download it. We can monitor it. And here I'll start it. Stop, start. Basically it is the same. Stop. Now the SCL will take a little bit time, but still let's write SCL also. So we can do a new function block. We make it SCL Conveyor SCL. Let's start here. Here I would like to do it a little bit different. Like here, if you don't have any inputs and outputs, but with the SCL I would like to make it more in a structured way so you can see the difference of using this interface here, these instances. So for the inputs, let's make start, stop, sensor 1. Let's make it with underline. Sensor 2. And our outputs are conveyor 1. Then copy conveyor 2, conveyor 3. So in the structure way, what you can do is here under instructions, it's a good idea to use regions, right? Like I'll just name it like conveyors. And here we'll start our programming. Then what we can do is we can just check from one of them, like from, let's say, ladder logic. We say if start, here we have or, so I'll make it under parentheses. If start or conveyor 1, and we have another and stop, not STP, but stop, or I better make Control Z because it already created a system block here, and stop. So you see guys that I'm here, for example, I'm not using the tag exactly, I'm using these instances from here. I want to show you something. So we say if start or conveyor and stop, then conveyor 1 equal to true. And then we say else conveyor 1 false. And we say and if. This is for our conveyor 1. Okay, and if let's do for conveyor 2. Here we say we are using some negative triggers, so first thing we would like to do, detect negative signal edge. I'd like to make it here, multi-instance. Let's just use here sensor 1. This part we don't need. And then we say if this guy here, if the output of this one, or conveyor 2 or start and stop, then we say conveyor 2 is equal to true. Else conveyor 2 equal to false. And if. So this part is for conveyor 2, and we do the same for conveyor 3 here. So for this one we will also create another instance 2. Here we say sensor 2, and this one we will close it. And then we say if this one, the output of this one, or conveyor 3, or start and stop, then conveyor 3 is equal to true, else conveyor 3 false. Here we forgot this. And then we say and if. So this is it basically. Our SCL is also prepared. Basically this one is exactly this one. This part is also this part. It's basically the same. So what we do is now under the main OP, not FPT, but we call the SCL. And here you see, here you have interface. This part is the input here, this structure, and the outputs are here. So now we have to connect them, right? So I'll open my tags. For the start, I would like to use start. For the stop, sensor 1, sensor 2, conveyor 1, conveyor 2, and conveyor 3. And that's it. And here we can see, if you open, we start running, and here we can see the stop normally is like closed, right? And sensor 1 and 2 is also true all the time. When I press start, you see it turns on, the conveyors are running already. If I press stop, they stop. I hope you learned something from this one, guys. I would really appreciate your support, guys. If you are not subscribed, you can subscribe. Thank you for watching.